So it was about this time your weight had really got to be an issue, and you got a call to come back. But at that point, you didn't feel like you could or you should.
It was impossible, Jimmy. I mean, it was August 2003. The phone rang one day, and you know, if anybody knows, you look on your caller ID and it would say Stamford, Connecticut. you would get sick. You would get sick, and you would get sick because they call all the just when you thought you had time off or a weekend off. Stamford, Connecticut. It was all the damn time, We were getting paid well for it. Anyway, deal. Stamford, Connecticut called. Of course, I didn't answer it. So I checked the message, and it was JR. Percy, we've got an idea for you. It's going to involve you and The Undertaker at WrestleMania 20. We got about 6 months before we get there, 7 months at that time, and we want to talk to you about it. So as I was already depressed, I already put on the weight, I already had the personal problems and everything, so when I played that message back and listened to it, it was just throw gasoline on me and throw the match on me, because I weighed 525 pounds. I couldn't walk out in my front yard and get the newspaper or the mail, and I was dying, and I was dying. There's no other word to describe it. And I was so ashamed, that I couldn't talk to JR and tell him that. And he didn't leave off. He called. He called several more times, and they know me so well that something had to be wrong because I wasn't returning their calls. Here's my chance to come back with Taker, WrestleMania 20. Why isn't Percy calling us back? He sure ain't doing nothing else for anybody else, So I didn't return the calls, and then he followed up with an email about a week or so later, and then I felt comfortable there because I could hide behind the computer keyboard, and they couldn't send me. And I told him my health just wouldn't allow it, He said, well, but we'd like to talk to you. So I called him. And I said, Jim, my health just won't allow it. I put on so much weight. And first thing he said was, Percy, what can we do for you? What can we do to help you? I said, well, I've been researching this gastric bypass surgery, and my doctor seems to think that that's the only thing that's going to save my life. And, of course, I don't have any insurance or... a little bit more chit-chat. He says, well, let me talk to Vince, and I'll get back to you. And it was like the next day, he called and says, here's the deal. We're going to send you a new contract, a new 3-year contract for X amount of dollars downside. And as a signing bonus, we're going to help you pay for your gastric bypass surgery. So I'm looking at the calendar now, and the gastric bypass surgery, I'm going to go into this in more detail in the part 2 of my personal shoot interview, because this is a very, very critical part of my entire life, not just my career. But it's not a thing that you can walk into the 7-Eleven